And the guy, the head of the company, RCA in the UK, he rang me up and said, "We must be able to do something with this. Um, must be able to uh, change the vibe, cut it down to 3.5 minutes." And I said, "Yeah, we'll give it a go." So we went into the studio. We didn't tell anybody. We didn't tell Gina Chapman or the producer. We just went into Ian Gillan had just bought or taken over the lease of one of the main studios in London, and we said to him, "We're coming in, hush, hush."
Hey, thanks for hitting play. This is the Zen Podcast, your new home for music and more. We look forward to bringing you amazing interviews, reviews, and news about all the artists you love and maybe some you are yet to discover. So kick back, enjoy the ride, and welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
Um, all right. Yeah, good.
It's
You
wonderful.
you good?
I'm
You
great.
good?
It's wonderful to talk to you again. It was before the last tour we chatted,
That's right. Yeah.
and
I thought I knew that face.
we're both Andrews, so we're absolute legends. So that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. You don't want to be called Andrew in the UK at the moment, though.
That's okay. I don't get called Andy, so I can be called anything you like.
No, but you know what I mean with our royal family.
Yes. Now, the final Blitz is in October and November, and we missed you on that last run. So, firstly, how are you feeling? Health all good?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm through. It wasn't anything to do with my prostate. The last thing, it was to do with my pelvis. I just couldn't get up and walk. It took a couple of months to get it all back together, but I'm back out there and looking forward to it. Really looking forward to coming back to Australia.
That's amazing. My good friend Randall filled
Oh
in for
yeah,
you on the last run, so
yeah, yeah.
he's a
The guys have told me some very hilarious stories. So
he's a character.
yeah.
Now, it's almost a year. When you'll be almost a year on from the Full Circle album, how are you feeling about that almost a year later?
It's good. We've had a lot of pickups around the world. It went into the German charts, which was fantastic. And we didn't really do, we did a little bit of publicity, but we weren't exactly over the top with it. But it actually, when it went into the real German charts, which we haven't done for a little while. And the songs that we've been performing on stage from it have been going down extremely well. The audience seem to know it, which means that the people who are showing up to the gigs aren't just rubbernecking to go, "Oh, sweet, yeah." The majority of people who know what the band is about. But there's always a percentage of people who've not seen us for a long time who come along expecting whatever they're expecting and go away shouting the way that we want them to. So it's great.
Wonderful. Now, the license plate on the train, does that mean anything on that album cover?
It's Rampage if you read it the right way. It's something like 12/4, 12A.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it now going, I can see it.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. Is there a song from the album that you think is your personal favorite so far?
Well, we've released a few as singles, and the one that sticks out in my mind is Circus. I like Circus. It's got a good vibe, and it's that the sort of cross between rock and pop, you know. But I also like the title track, Full Circle. That's quite different. It's got all the changes in pace and it's almost like two songs in one.
Yeah. Now, while Sweet is winding down long tours, there still will be shows, but what about the potential of more new music in the future?
Well, that's definitely on the cards. We were trying to get something together this year, but I think it'll be next year when we'll release something. But that doesn't mean that we won't come back to Australia, you see. The way I'm feeling, we should do as much as we can, as often as we can. So when this title, The Final Blitz, was put together, you got to understand that sometimes it's not always the band's choice.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, a title comes up and you think, oh yeah, that's pretty good because quite frankly, it could be The Final Blitz, couldn't it?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, because I always said I wouldn't do long tours, but you can't come to Australia for a week.
no.
You know, you're going to have to do a day, but we've got a lot of days between gigs, so there's time for recovery. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the other guys might be out feeding kangaroos, but I think I'll be resting in my hotel or by the pool or something like that,
Both amazing choices, really.
or cuddling a koala.
Yep. Do all of that. You know, leave that up to the band. They smell.
Yes, I think they said that the last time they were here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, speaking of favorite songs, going back in your career, do you remember a song or an album that you feel changed your life?
Um, well, I think that Sweet Fanny Adams, the British release, before you got that though, didn't you? Sweet Fanny Adams
Yeah.
in Australia, yeah.
Yep.
That for me was a game changer because we didn't have much. Well, we had no interference from Chin and Chapman.
Yep.
It was done with the producer Phil Wainman. Um, and then the American version, which was they titled it the same as Desolation Boulevard, but they took a lot of the tracks from Sweet Fanny Adams and put them with tracks from um, Desolation Boulevard. So that album was the first album that was released in America was the best of two albums. So of course it was going to go double gold and be well
Yep.
received, you know. I think there's been something in every album, but then the next album that would mean something is the real change of pace album, the album called Level Headed
Yep.
with Love Is Like Oxygen on there,
Yep.
the full version. Yeah,
It's quite funny that the American market likes to do that to bands. So, for instance, they did it to AC/DC and the Angels here, where they've taken two albums and almost made a compilation
yeah.
album, even though it wasn't designed that way. So, um, do you think that that is really what endeared you to America, is being able to have that compilation?
Um, well, I actually think that when you've given them probably so much of, you could probably have chosen from that first Desolation Boulevard, you could have probably picked six singles,
Yep.
and then hot on the trail of that because things were not in the same time scale as the rest of the world. So they had catch up. So having released that, we then had Give Us a Wink, the heavy metal album that we released. So coming on the back of that, the Americans who were used to hearing those hard pop rock out songs were now instigated with the equivalent of a Led Zeppelin album
Yep.
with one single on there. So action. So it was a like a complete change of identity almost, you know.
Yeah. Now, when you separated from Chin and Chapman, do you recall that conversation, that sort of atmosphere at the time? Because they were the hit makers of the time, and they still continued on being hit makers, but they had you in more of a bubblegum kind of vibe.
Yeah, well, there was no conversation. They were in America. The record company needed another single, and we'd released Desolation Boulevard, and there was a song on there recorded in a different way called Fox on the Run.
Hmm.
And the guy, the head of the company, RCA in the UK, he rang me up and said, "We must be able to do something with this. Um, must be able to uh, change the vibe, cut it down to 3.5 minutes." And I said, "Yeah, we'll give it a go." So we went into the studio. We didn't tell anybody. We didn't tell Chin and Chapman or the producer. We just went into Ian Gillan had just bought or taken over the lease of one of the main studios in London, and we said to him, "We're coming in, hush, hush." And he said, "Fine." We met our producer for the future, sorry, engineer for the future, Louis,
Yep.
and and we recorded the new version of Fox on the Run, which the record company went mad about. They thought it was fantastic, and they released it. Didn't tell anybody. And Jenna Chapman and Phil Wimmer found out that there was a new release coming, and they're wondering how the hell has this happened. And when they heard it, they kind of went, well, you know, let's see what happens. And of course, it was a massive hit.
Yeah. And that song has gone on to have placement in so many different TVs, movies, and things like that. Has there
Yeah.
ever been any TV or movie you've said no to?
I don't think we would ever say no. Fox on, sorry, Love Is Like Oxygen was in a soft porn film with Joan Collins called the Stud. And if it's in a film, it's no detriment to you.
Yep.
They're just using the music. And I don't think there's anything that we would say no to unless it was a um, incitement of far right Nazi, uh, you know, bloodthirsty
Yep.
people. But the usual way is you look at the situation, how big a film is it going to be, and you try and adjust the payment accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I got to ask, are you a Wrexham FC fan?
Of course,
What do you
of
think of,
course.
of the new owners?
I've not met them. After all this time, I've been to several matches. They've not been there a lot of the time. The one game that they were there, that recently last year or earlier this year, when Wrexham played Chelsea in the FA Cup,
Yep.
and they should have won that. They were there, but they've got their own little suite up on the top of a stand, and I still go in the director's box, with all
Yep.
the ex-players and people like that. And I think that they've certainly done lots of good things for the town, and they've met a lot of fans along the way. And they're talking about real fans, not
Yep.
you know stuff like this. And they brought over a lot of their American mates, so you see them in their box, from time to time. But it would have been quite nice to have been invited just to go and say hi. But maybe there's still time. I still go to the matches when I can.
They'll be next season. What's your prediction for their performance for the next season?
I think this season, with what happened and the way that last game went, I think this was the season to go up into the Premiership. But I
Yep.
think they would have come straight down. You can just about see the difference. You know, um, those Premier clubs have had years of digging in and knowing how to be there.
Yep.
And I think Wrexham is still a little bit uh, somebody on a horse with a sword going charge. You know.
Yep. Understand. I've got a football mad 11-year-old son, so we watch a lot of football in the house.
Well, where are you based?
I'm in Brisbane.
Brisbane. Well, if you want, how old is he?
He'll be 12 in September.
Well, why don't I bring him a Wrexham shirt?
He would love it.
Okay.
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, we'll have to get you a Brisbane Raw shirt just to trade you off.
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of American and Aussie football. And I'll tell you the way that Australia are playing in the World Cup.
Yeah, we watched the game 2 nights ago, and
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
they deserve that win. We'll take that.
They did. They did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it'll be good
Now
when
all you got to do is beat America now.
Oh, I think we've got them. I think we can do it.
Yeah.
We're quite lucky that we've got a very good seasoned squad. Even the young guys, they've done their time in,
Yeah.
the European leagues and stuff. So I think we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
What's your prediction for the UK, or the England or
Well, England
Wales and
game. Well, you see, I'm a Welshman, as
yeah,
you know. I'm
yep,
from Wales, but in the World Cup, I will follow Scotland. I will follow England. I will follow Australia. I will follow New Zealand. I will follow anything that is tangible, to a UK thing. Um, but they're all talking about how this is a good squad, and it is. My son, who is a avid England supporter, he thinks they're going to win the World Cup. And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to have a bet with you because stranger things have happened,
Yep,
you know.
absolutely. Now back to music. You said there's potential of some new music. Is there any vault tracks that you would love to maybe put a retrospective out, some unreleased stuff?
There's not much unreleased. We've been doing that under the banner Platinum Rare.
Yep,
We've had a couple of album outs, Platinum Rare 1, Platinum Rare 2, and those are the outtakes and tracks that haven't been used and things like that. So our vault is not packed with unreleased songs. When we made an album, because of the way that our producer was, and he instilled it in me, he said, don't have boxes of tapes with just something in the middle that might be a good idea. He said, take it back to the beginning and use the tape properly. Put 3 songs on each tape.
yep,
He said that's the best use of tape. He said, especially back in the 70s, he said, £100 a roll. And he said you got the Rolling Stones with 30 rolls of tape to make an album.
yep.
He said, my God, someone's got a bit of listening to do there, haven't they?
No, I completely understand. One of my favorite bands in the world is Kiss, and the two primary guys there, you've got one that will come in with enough songs for the album, and the other one that'll come in with about 500 songs worth of pure trash.
Yeah, yeah,
So I get what you're saying. Like, why waste the tape?
yeah, yeah.
And is that what you did back in the day? You only wrote for the album. You didn't think
Yeah,
about extras?
no, the only extras were some of them were turned into B-sides
Yep.
as time went on. But in the early days, you recorded an A-side and a song that we wrote, a B-side. But when it got to Sweet Fanny Adams, you then had to think about the next single and you needed to record a B-side separate. You didn't want to pull an album track.
Yeah, absolutely. When you get down here, what do you think the set list is going to be? Do you think it's going to be a lot of stuff from the latest album and the hits?
I think that it would be very rude not to do the hits.
Yep.
So you have to do them. And I have this conversation with the band almost every other day. What are we going to do? And I said, well, we're going to have to do a couple from the new album, of course, maybe more, maybe change it so that this night we do these 2 tracks and that night we do those 2 tracks. We're going to have half a dozen heavy rock tracks that we're going to put in there, but maybe only do 3 and then do a different 3 that night. And that's the way it's going to be. And we'll obviously be doing Peppermint Twist. It's got to be done.
Yep. Have you thought about ever opening with Fox on the Run to confuse people?
That's the last song. You don't change the build-ups.
No. All right,
Yeah.
Andy, I'm going to let you go. You've had a full day of press today, and the World
Yeah,
Cup is on, and we should all be tuning in and watching a game or two.
yeah.
Uh,
And you will come to the gig in Brisbane, yeah?
I will see you at the Princess Theatre. It's one of the
Yeah,
best venues to play. You are going to adore playing in that venue. The sound and light is fantastic.
yeah. I think we've played there before, but also last time I was in Australia for a tour was the QSP with Susie Quattro
Yep.
and Don Powell, and we played the Q-Pack. The Q-Pack?
QPAC, yeah. Yeah. That's a beautiful
Yeah,
venue as well.
yeah. And we were Susie Quattro with us. She was the opening act for herself. It was Quattro Scott Powell and then Susie Quattro. So she worked hard on that, I have to tell you.
I'll make sure I catch Susie every time she's here. I just absolutely love her.
Lovely. All right, mate.
Thanks, Andy. We'll
That's
see
been
you
great.
soon.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Zen Podcast. Make sure you don't miss an episode. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a thing. Listen to us on the go. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and all your favourite podcast platforms. And get social. Follow the journey by searching Zen on all social media. Another way to support the show is to leave a rating or review. It helps other fans find out about us. Thanks
Thanks for tuning in and see you next time.